Welcome to the 90 Central Podcast, where we talk about growing a business, working in media, and building a team that we love. I'm Will Stewart, CEO of 90 Central.
And I'm Jen Blair, the COO of 90 Central.
Jen, this is our first episode.
It is.
It's the inaugural episode.
Yes, this has been such a long time coming, too.
I know.
And I'm so happy that we're doing this.
Me too. We talked about it for a while.
Forever.
Yeah. And for people who maybe have not heard the trailer and they're just like, let's just skip ahead to the first episode. This is a resource to help people as we are kind of open about struggles, triumphs, things that we're doing, trends that we see, and just a way for us to make the community better and share what we know.
Yeah. So I guess kind of starting with that, 90 Central has been around for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, you started the company 10 years ago
9 years
now,
ago, yeah.
But you always say it feels like the company's 2 years old.
Yeah.
So why do you feel that way?
Yeah, so it really has two phases for the company. So for a while, it was just me and a lot of contractors and people that we would bring in on set. So whenever we had a big project, we'd bring in the right people. And I just had a team of people that I loved and I loved working with. They were very qualified, but never had, true employees that were in-house, under the roof. And for a while, it was more just not knowing if I could do it, not knowing, honestly, if I wanted to kind of have that kind of a company because it changes the mindset, changes the role.
Yeah.
Today I'm CEO. Before then, I would say I was a DP, a director of photography, or a director. And so it changes your role. It changes how you interact with your clients because, I love our clients so much.
Yeah.
I love helping them. And I love being, in the dirt with them. But now, as our company has grown, there's jobs and responsibilities you hand to other people.
Yeah, and there's a separation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't get to be a part of all that fun stuff.
So. But then on top of that, it's not just you anymore. It's a whole team of people. It's a whole, it's a whole entity of itself and how those people are interacting with each other and, how you're existing together.
Right.
And that changes everything.
And that team and community now needs things that you didn't need if it was just you and a bunch of people that you called up whenever you had a job.
Yeah.
So processes need to be built.
That was fun.
Oh my God. It's so much fun. Yeah. And it's fun when it works, but man, as you go through it, I mean, there's no easy way to make a process.
Yeah.
At least for me.
So you hired the first employee March of 2020.
Right before the pandemic.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah, and as I was thinking about man, can we afford this? Should we be able to do it? And honestly, I was probably 2 years late because it's I should have hired, way sooner. And then we hired David Stapp, who became our editor, senior editor. And he was the first hire, and what a great person and great person to have on the team just to start the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm. And then I came in October of that year.
Right.
Started as a producer.
Your role changed like 5 times in 6 months.
Great. It's fun. Roll with the punches. But So, and then we just kind of went from there. It feels like 2020 versus 2021. I just I don't even remember 2020. That was just a whirlwind. And, you kept saying to me, man, we're building the plane. We're building the plane while it's flying. And it's like, okay, well, let's do this. We can do this. And
building the plane while it's falling was probably more
No, we flew. We did good. We did a lot of good stuff. So,
yeah, we did. Yeah. It was all good, but it was amazing. Even when we were talking, 2022, as we think about, the successes of 2021, we kind of look back.
Yeah.
A lot of times you think about where you are and all the all the things that are oh man, we need to work on this, and there's some things we need to fix here, and there's just always stuff you're wanting to shore up. But when you look back over a year of hard work, creating processes, doing all these things, man, it's really cool to see where you came from.
And it feels like you are moving so slow.
It does.
You're just crawling through mud, and then you get to the end, and you're like, wow, we did all that in 12 months. That's it. And man, it's wild. But
incredible.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing that we did in 2021 was really grow the team. So, we started out with 3 people and then quickly became 8, and we're back to 7 now.
Yeah.
But, we wanted to make sure, and you said this from the very first moment, the first conversation that we ever had before you hired me, was that culture was so important to you. And we, thanks to some really great consultants that we have, did a ton of work putting in what that culture would be, and specifically our mission and our vision and our values, right?
Yeah.
So do you want to talk about kind of how we put that in place?
Yeah, so having mission and values is the key thing, because it gives us something to look forward, and it gives us a gauge. So having your values gives you a reason to work, or why you're working, to let you know, like, if I'm not meeting these values, I'm not meeting basically spec for our company. You
Yep.
know, you're not achieving the standard that we've set inside of our company. And a mission gives you something to work towards.
Yep.
You know? And they're so important, because you can talk about culture, you can talk about, like, we got the greatest culture, but if you don't have that in writing and an explanation of what that means, yes, there are lots of intangibles, but you have to have something very clear, so that from the very top to the very bottom, everybody knows this is the standard. This is the 9/8 Central standard that everybody has to go by.
Yeah.
And it's what we all universally hold ourselves to, you know, and it's not just like it's good for one person, not good for the other.
Exactly.
It's very clear for us.
Yeah.
And then our process to get that going was, you know, you're now COO. You've had like so many different jobs, you know, bumps and changes, and now we kind of have that visionary integrator model, which I'm sure we'll talk about in another episode.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But we met with consultants and really just ironed out the way we wanted to talk about our values.
Yep.
Because there's lots of different ways. Like you can say you can have like aspirational values of what you want to be.
Yep.
You can be values of what you were in the past, or values of like basically who you embody right now naturally. There's a lot to it.
Yep. Yeah, and it was a really interesting process the way they walked us through it. And I remember it was just really word dump kind of thing, where it's like, just think about, when you think about your team, what are the words that come to mind? And
we did it separately, right?
We did do it separately.
Because we couldn't look at each other's
we couldn't look at each other's. Yeah, they told us to write down like what we thought of, and then what we didn't, like the things we thought were true and the things that were absolutely not true too. So yeah, we had a long list. We each had
how many words we had.
Yeah, but then we put them up on the wall and saw what was the same.
Yeah.
Or what we liked of each other's lists.
Yeah.
And then just kind of started to narrow down from
And we
there.
did like 10, I think. We had a lot.
We had a lot.
Kind of a long list.
Yeah.
And that was hours, right?
It was.
I think if anybody's thinking about like what to do and like how to make value, how to like, you know, create values for your company, just know it's going to be painful. Like it's just going to be hard, and because it's so important.
Yeah, but then even then, like we had some, and we were like, these are great, woohoo, we have values. And then later on, it's like, no, do these feel right? Because you said earlier, it's so much of it is intangibles, and so you have a word, you know what that means, you know the definition, but then like the feeling can sometimes be not aligned. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's just weird. Like, or you have a feeling, and you're like, well, that word doesn't quite encapsulate this thing, and so
it's too generic. Excellence.
Yeah, and what does that mean?
Yeah.
I don't like abstract.
Integrity.
Yes. No.
Yeah. So for us, it was important for it to be personal.
Yes.
You know, really big part, and then also had to be very like intentional. Yeah, true. Intentional.
Yeah. So, and I think we landed in a good spot with ours.
Yeah, the one I loved the most was the one I was like, we got to have this one. Was fearlessness.
Yes,
you know it.
That was that's the one that I struggle with. So if I,
but it's good to be aspirational.
But it is.
So fearlessness for us is just the ability to try something new.
Yeah, and not be afraid to take a risk and do the things like, if like, for instance, even just in social media, right? Okay, Reels is coming out. Let's try that for our clients. Let's just not do it and not work on it because it's something new and it might not work out for them. Like, let's try it. Let's try it and see where it goes. And it's just being willing to take a risk and just kind of see if it works out and see if you can make a big win from it. And
it also gives our culture and our company grace in case there is a failure or something messed up.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's been a couple times where I was like, oh man, I wasn't fearless in this part. I screwed up, and like it's okay to make a mess in our company. Like we just say, don't make the same mistake twice. Yeah, exactly. And like also, it gives people a reason. Especially, people don't like to mess up. Yeah. And so it's like it gives you that runway to know that if you make a mistake, it's not the end of the road. You know. So just keep going. So fearlessness is my favorite. What's yours? Probably hunger is my favorite, just because I
I personally am always looking for learning more, achieving more, doing more, and I am attracted to that in other people too. And so if you're going to be proactive and you're going to be the one who is, just trying to do everything better, never settling or resting on your laurels, like that I connect with the most, I think.
And being hungry means showing up ready to give 100% and learn, because we all have things to learn from each other. I mean, we have incredibly talented people in this team that know, very deep knowledge on some specific things that, I don't know. And so there's so much that our team is teaching me about different areas and their expertise, and it's incredible. And these are people that are like, hey, I had an extra hour or two, and I learned this thing, and I'm really trying to figure this thing out. I mean, we have a new technology that we're working with, and our senior editor, post director, David Stapp, is working on some things there, and he's showing me stuff. I'm like, wow, this is cool.
Oh my gosh, yeah. David is the one who's always like pulling up the crazy new things to try too. So there's like a nice combo of fearlessness and hunger there.
Yeah, exactly. So, and hunger, I think, is such an important thing. Like don't you think that's really one of the biggest differentiators for us for when it even comes to hiring? Because,
yes, yeah.
If you're not hungry,
it too.
Yeah.
The hunger is something you feel. Like you can sit there and say all day, yeah, I like to learn, I like to teach myself these things. But like the second that person gets on a job or with you, And
if you're not hungry, as they say in the South, then you're just not going to make it. Another value is communication.
Yes.
What does that mean to us?
It means that we talk to each other. It means that we keep the lines open, that we all know what's going on with our projects. We have a lot of things that takes more than one person to do. We all depend on each other, and production, social media, all together, it needs full cooperation from beginning to end of that process. And if it breaks down and we don't talk to each other, then it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So.
And there's our business is so intense and so communication heavy
and fast.
Yes.
So fast. And the
amount of Slacks, emails, messages that we send each other are incredible. I mean, even just this morning, working with our producer Beth Godwin, who's phenomenal at what she does. Like we're working on this commercial for a regional restaurant chain, and I mean, there's so many details.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and that's an intense one. So and that is moving so fast. We had like 2 weeks, I think, for pre-pro on that.
Yeah,
that was not. That's just breakneck speed.
Yeah,
and for such a huge crew. Yeah.
And so many details that, people don't even think about. And so like the communication has to be right, both internally and with our client.
Yes.
And that's why I think we had that as one of our values, is because if we're not able to meet that standard, then we're not able to provide this level of service for our clients.
Right.
And also have a culture that's, not frustrating.
Right.
It's work is hard enough. I mean, we love what we do, but it's sometimes a job is a job, and you got to make sure that those communications are there, because you don't want to be shooting yourself in the foot.
Exactly. And it just, it makes your clients happier. If your clients know what's going on and you're keeping them updated, there's no surprises. They're not left in the dark. You're servicing them. They need to know what you're doing. So, yeah.
So what's our next value?
It's probably my second favorite, which is servant's heart. And that's the one that I really wanted to have on our list at first. I am very much leading by example, helping out where you can. You're on a team for a reason, and you depend on each other, and so help each other out. And that's really, seeing where somebody's struggling, or if you see something out of place, you're the one who puts it back. You're not leaving messes for other people to clean up. Like that to me is really important, and it takes a humble, kind of selfless person. And those are the types of people that, I think that's one of the reasons why our team is so good at working together, is because we're always looking out for that other person before ourselves. Yeah. Why would you want to be on a team with somebody who's just about them?
Right. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and no one wants to work in that kind of culture.
Yeah.
And it's important, especially because of the deep level of knowledge that we have. You got to be looking behind you to say who's struggling, who needs help.
Yeah.
And there's so many on our team that does that incredibly well. I think about John Godwin when he was.
Oh my gosh, yes.
He was a contractor with us before we hired him. And I remember one of the first times I had him on as a contractor, and he was here in our studio, and he saw a trash can that was full, and he just emptied it. And that definitely wasn't his job description to do, but that was servant's heart.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I thought to myself then, I was like, man, if I can ever hire him, I want to.
Yeah. No, and Kyle's another one that I think of with that too. Like Kyle's always putting other people in front of himself, one of the most caring and selfless people that I've ever met and worked with. So, yeah.
Man, I love our team.
I know.
It's a joy to work with them.
The last one.
Yeah.
Accountability.
We both
I saw it in your
anyway.
face.
I was like, oh no, accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah, and accountability is so important because we're responsible and accountable to each other. And we are. Even though we're 7 people currently, 2 part-time people and 7 full-time, and we're going to be
intern.
growing.
Don't forget our intern.
And an intern.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're growing.
Yeah.
It's going to be more one day, very soon. It's important. We're all accountable to each other for different things. Even me as the CEO.
Oh yeah.
It's like I'm accountable to everybody in this company. And there's certain things that I have to provide.
Yeah. And I mean, on that note too, it's like you're the CEO, but you wear different hats too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I that I am always pressing on you. It's like, okay, Mr. Color Grader. Okay, Mr. DP, I need you over here. Stop being the CEO. You have to put this hat on for a second. And so, And I mean, that's also kind of my job, is making sure that all of the hats are being worn in the appropriate times and that those people are carrying out their operations.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I don't think even if we get bigger, that's never going to change.
Yeah.
Like, there's just certain roles that everyone fills, and we always want to make sure it kind of ties in that kind of servant's heart too. We're just accountable to each other, and it all just kind of flows together.
Yep.
Our values, they're so important.
Yeah, and it's so interesting too. And I said how when we put them together in the first place, sometimes it felt like were these right? And I mean, we did change one. I can't even remember what we had before we changed it, and it was a very slight change.
Yeah.
But I think that's when hunger came in, and it was something. But at any rate, the further we kind of like our team gets into working with each other, and the more time we spend together, that's when I really start to get the clarity that these are the right ones.
Yeah.
And it's just like you can see everybody working through these, and you can see it coming out in everybody. And so it feels good to know that we picked good ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And they're going to be different for every company. Everybody's going to
Yeah.
have their own things that they really resonate with. But I think it's important to take the time, get away, get off-site if you need to, and make sure you build that foundation really, really strong, because it helps you, as you said, while you're working to build your culture, but it helps you in hiring because you can say, this is the standard.
Yeah.
It's these 5 principles. If they're not these 5 things, then we know it's not going to serve our team well.
Yeah.
It also helps with firing because, as people decide they're not a fit for our company, we can judge them by these 5 principles. And we make it very clear as part of the hiring process that this is part of, the standard that you're expected to meet.
And then think about it too. If you're not caring for your team, if you're not accountable, if you're not communicating, if you're not being hungry enough, those are all things that they're not going to make a good team member for our team. And so it makes it so clear to know what standards to hold yourself to. Yeah. And that's one thing whenever I'm introducing core values to new employees or newer team members, it's like if you come to a point and you don't know what to do or you don't know how to move forward, think back to the core values. Will communicating about this move you forward? Do you need to do this to be accountable to somebody? And so it's just those are your guideposts when you get stuck too. So.
And it's just a place of safety for everyone. So it's really cool. So we talked about values, and for the sake of time, we need to quickly move through this. But we have our mission.
Yes,
it's important to know where you're going, where you're heading. Why are we doing everything that we're doing? And it's the big kind of overarching, goal. And we talked a little bit about this. What do we do? And I felt strongly that it was this. It was we love our team.
Yep.
Our mission is to love our clients, and then we love our community.
Yep.
And there's 3 phases to that really helps solidify the big overarching goal for this company. Loving our team, culture is so important, and we have to love the people that we work with.
Yeah, and that we try to, and it's not just doing something for birthdays or whatever. It's we had a couple of people out sick, and so make sure that they're taken care of as far as having food and being able to get food delivered to their house. Giving gifts for birthdays or small gifts or bringing in treats and food, but just really trying to keep through communication, keeping our ears open. What does the team need? Where are they, and how can we help?
Yeah, and
it
then
makes such a big difference.
When some people are burned out, for the day, it's like, hey, go home early, just or go home, clear your head, work from home. It's just a way to just love people and say, okay, the mission. Yes, we have deadlines. Yes, we have things we need to accomplish. But the mission is to make sure that we are building our team, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and making sure they're whole persons.
And they can bring their best selves to work.
Right.
Because we're more than just the person that we bring here.
No,
So.
and we're not robots.
No.
Everybody brings their whole self to
Yeah.
work, and they bring all the baggage from life.
Yep.
Myself included, and it's there's a lot of grace that's needed, and a lot of love. The second one is we love our clients, and that means that if we make a mistake, we fix it.
Yes.
If there's something that would make us a lot of money that our client wants, but we don't think it's in their best interest, we tell them.
Yep.
If there's a way that we can help save them money and do something that is in their benefit, we do it.
Yeah.
And that's us thinking long term. What serves our clients? How can we love our clients? If we can't do something for our clients and love them at the same time, we don't do it.
Right. Exactly. Or even just, find a way to make things beneficial for both of us too. There's just opportunities where it's like, hey, if you're bringing us business, we can make, work some stuff out and see how we can help each other in that way. So I don't know. We're just always looking for ways that we can better partner and be better partners.
Yeah.
So,
It's about the long game.
Yeah.
It's not about the quick buck, the quick sell.
Yeah.
It's a relational business, and we want to make sure that people know they're loved and know they're appreciated.
Yep.
The last one is love our community.
Love our community. Yeah. And I feel like, we're getting to be better at that.
Yeah.
I think that's especially with some of the big things that we have coming down the pipeline. We have a lot of plans for different ways to love our community.
Yeah. And for us, it's about, ways that we can give back to our community, whether it's serve them through, like nonprofits through discounts for videos, whether it's, giving money to support a cause that we're passionate about. We had someone who was having some needs that wasn't a client and just needed there's some ways that we could help.
Yep.
And it's very, very important to us. And another thing that's just a kind of a layer to that is we don't do it linked to marketing efforts.
Right.
So,
we don't want people to know.
No.
That's what I love is that we just do things. Maybe we have done something that you don't know about. But
exactly.
But you benefited. So.
Yeah. And to me, I don't think if I'm giving money and then I'm also saying, look what I did, look what 90 Central did, aren't we awesome? To me, it feels disingenuous for us, but I'm not ever knocking anybody that does that. I mean, there's lots of ways that businesses and nonprofits partner together that benefits both. And so it's absolutely never a slam on that. But for us, we just felt like it wasn't a fit for our culture.
Right.
And so that's just a choice we made.
Yeah. We're quiet people.
Yeah, it's good. And it all comes back. I think God, takes care of all of it. So our values and our mission, they're so important.
Yes.
Yeah. And if there's anybody that is, thinking, okay, I have my company, I'm trying to build it, and I just don't have time to build, create these values and create this mission, what would you say to them?
Do it. Find the time. Carve it out. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those days, let's say it took you 2 days, right, of 16 hours, of just agony. That is 2 brief days that can completely change the trajectory of your company.
Yeah. And again, it's that whole thing where it feels like we're flying through this, but you're not. I mean, I don't know. Or, you just have to take that time to really put the things in place that matter that will help you be better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So take the time and do it. That's what we're going to say. Just do it.
Just do it.
Someone should make a slogan.
I was going to say, that sounds really catchy.
I don't know. Okay, we're going to think about that while, you can just hang around for that second episode. So if people are looking to learn more about us, what should they do?
They should go to 98c.org, or they can find us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. You can find us as 98c on most of those, but we'll link it in the show notes to make it easier to find for you.
Yeah, and if you have any questions about your values, your mission statement, and just want to get a little bit of advice or help with that, just reach out to us. We're here to help you. And that's one way we can love our community, right? So we'll do it.
Yeah. All right. Sweet.
Thanks so much for listening. See you later.
Okay. So
where we talk about a growing business, working in media, and building a team we love. Except AJ. What? Growing, working, building.
Exactly.
Okay.
It won't help. Trust me.
Sorry. I'm just having flashbacks. I shouldn't even go through this, and it's just making me laugh.
Welcome to the 98 Central podcast, where we talk about growing a business, working in media, and building a team we love. I'm Will Stewart, CEO of his way.
You even got the intro.
Okay, AJ, I want the trailer to be this. Welcome to the 98 Central podcast, where we talk about growing a business, working in media, and building a team we love. Welcome to the 98 Central podcast, where we talk about growing a business, working in media, and building a team that we love